time for another edition of The Double Shot. Our dear friend, Jake Skorheim, he had a mole removed or something.
I did, yeah. I didn't know this was going to actually make it into the show.
You put it in the show notes.
It was more like just a funny quip.
It wasn't funny. There's nothing serious. There's nothing funny about the serious medical issue.
No, I highly recommend
digging out a mole from your body.
It actually wasn't that traumatic. I was surprised at how quickly they did it. I had a mole on my body, an imperfection, if you could believe it.
No, we could believe it.
Anyway, I went to the dermatologist and she was checking me out, doing all these things and kind of looking a little too close.
There's nothing more uncomfortable and awkward than going to a dermatologist.
It was so
who's doing
uncomfortable.
A mole check.
Okay, so I went in for the mole check because I had a mole that looked kind of funny. Turns out that mole's fine. It was just old. She goes, "Oh, it's just an old mole." I was like, "Oh, that's disgusting." So that's still on my body, to my wife's chagrin. So I said, "I have this other mole though, right here. I had a mole right here." And she goes, "Oh, we can take that off in like 2 seconds." I said, "Really?" So they just like shot a little thing into it, and then she just took a thing and cut it right off. They had to use like a soldering, not a soldering. What is it? Like a hot thing, like a hot piece of metal.
I think that's the technical term for it.
Is it soldering?
It's a hot piece of metal.
They used a hot piece of metal device and they shoved it on the side of my head and it smelled like burning. And there's a quote. She goes, "Oh, that's the smell of success in dermatology. When your skin's burning, because that means they got it off." So I was bleeding a lot. But they took all these pictures, the awkward part, like you were saying. You strip down and like top to tail, they look at everything. And so she's looking at me and she keeps
peering around things.
She has this little thing, like a little, like she's a Monopoly man or something. And she's got a little thing and she keeps getting
a monocle.
A monocle.
It's not a monocle.
It's not a monocle. She'd have come in a top hat. Let me check those moles.
Hold on one second. Let me check this.
Can I interest you in Boardwalk? And so she starts looking at me and I'm not expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but I get into the doctor's office and she says, "Go ahead and take off all your clothes." So I do.
And this was in the lobby.
This is in the lobby, as you're supposed to get naked in the lobby, right? Okay, good. So I go in there.
Efficient.
And it was so ridiculous because she brings a nurse in with her. So there's two ladies in there and she brings the nurse in and then she goes, "Yeah, you got a lot of," she goes, "You got some moles?" I said, "Look at my back." She goes, "Whoa." And I had like a lot of moles on my back. And so she's like, "Well, the best way that we can do this is we're going to take a bunch of pictures of you. And we're just going to watch these moles over time because otherwise there's just nothing else they can do." And so
to see if they change,
and all that stuff. So then she's sitting there and she's taking photos of me. And I had this really weird moment where I'm sitting there and I felt like I'm like half nude in front of two ladies. And I'm not normally nude in front of ladies who are my wife. And I felt like I was peacocking.
Not normally, every once in a while though.
I'm never. And so I found myself just naturally because of my masculine sense, I'm kind of peacocking a little bit and I'm like puffing myself up a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But I had done no body maintenance and no shaving. And again, I was quickly reminded, she's like, "Let me get a real close up of that mole." And it just deflated all of the, and there was nothing on it from their side. And
were you offered a part in a movie afterwards?
She's, "I'll give you a discount on this dermatology thing if you take some."
She gave you a bunch of photos for $99.
Yeah. They had it's like a bedroom shot, like a boudoir shot. Mm-hmm. No, but it was good to get it done. I got it finished.
Put the fan on in the background just to get your hair flowing. It was a little uncomfortable.
Is there some fancy lighting we can do? So it worked out fine, and I don't have no cancerous moles or anything like that. So that was nice. And then and now I'm one less mole free, and I'm feeling pretty good. And the only person that has to look at my moles now is my wife. So that's nice.
And we already feel bad for her.
And we already feel bad for her.
About this.
You're welcome.
That's called marriage. We'll see you next time.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz here with Scott Rarucka from Legacy Group Capital. He's their CEO. So let's talk about someone who wants to invest in real estate. They don't quite know where to go, what to do, where to start, but they do know obviously that right now the market is really, really hot. So you're the place to do it. How do you help?
Yeah. So how we help is, we've been investing in the greater Seattle area for over 20 years, and we have a historical track record that we're super proud of. Double-digit returns, over time with no investor losses. And if you can find somebody else out there that's done that, you should probably talk to them. And how we really do it is we're lending on real estate, and we're also acquiring real estate and building it and developing it. All those things come out of a fund that people invest into. So there's lending and there's acquisition. And then we share in profits with all of our investors on both those activities. Jason, most people can't do that on their own. They're not going to go develop properties. They're not going to go be a bank and lend money. But they can jump in with us and they can be that developer and they can be that lender, but it's underneath our umbrella with a 20-year track record that's unparalleled to anything that you'll find out there. We've been told that we're one of the best kept secrets in the Pacific Northwest.
I don't want it to be a secret. I want everyone to know just about what it is you do. The Legacy Group Capital family of funds offer short-term 90-day investments at 7%. Longer-term investments, they've averaged double-digit returns. Just go to legacyg.com.